Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Thursday, March 14th, NBA and college basketball slate. There is a ton of college basketball to get into and a lot of games going on currently. So let's get into those as we get started here. So conference tournament play all over the place. First game we were on was Richmond in that game going against St. Joe's. Richmond, best team in the Atlantic 10, them and Dayton all season long. St. Joe's got a nice win for us yesterday. I think their tournament run ends here. We did take them minus 1.5 first half, -2 for the game. One more time, Richmond minus 1.5 first half, -2 for the game. Next game up that we took going on right now, Florida State, North Carolina. North Carolina won the ACC. Florida State probably not going to be a tournament team on that one. Of course, I'm not the bracketology expert on that one, but don't expect them to make the tournament this season. But we do like North Carolina here, minus 5.5 first half and minus 10.5 for the game. One more time, North Carolina minus 5.5 first half, minus 10.5 for the game. Number one team, number two team in the country, whatever you want to call them, UConn. Big East winner. They've been dominant. I will say, they're extremely dominant at home. They haven't played a neutral court game as most teams haven't for quite some time. Xavier's played okay. There's not a lot of positives to point out for Xavier. I don't think in this particular one. UConn's got the talent. They've got the players. Question is, but they put the hammer down because the number was quite large. So UConn, we did take minus 8.5 first half, minus 14.5 for the game. One more time, UConn minus 8.5 first half, UConn minus 14.5 for the game. Next game up that we're on, BYU, Texas Tech. So BYU, the three-pointing shooting team. Texas Tech, the more defensive-minded team in this matchup. BYU shot the ball well. If they shoot the ball well, I don't think Tech can keep up point-wise, and the number's tight. So I think they're playing maybe a little bit of regression for this game here. I don't expect this to be a runaway, but I think BYU by 5 or 6 should be fine in this particular one. So we did take them at -3, but minus 1.5 first half, -3 for the game. One more time, BYU minus 1.5 first half and -3 for the game. Next game up that we're on, VCU against UMass. I can't figure out why the line's only 1.5 here. The VCU definitely, I think, the better overall team, more talented team here, only laying 1.5 in this game. I know it's back-to-back games, so maybe that's somewhat into consideration there, but we'll take the VCU here. We like them -0.5 first half, minus 1.5 for the game. One more time, VCU -0.5 first half, and then minus 1.5 for the game. Some other interesting games, St. John, Seton Hall, Wichita State, Memphis, Wake Forest, Pitt. All those kind of have a little bit of interest, but we didn't lay anything down on those yet. Next game up for us is actually Maryland and Wisconsin here. Wisconsin just had... if we're going like they were top 6 at one point to being out of the rankings, they just had a dreadful back end couple of months here. Maryland gets a win yesterday. I think maybe they stay hot, keep this game really competitive. I think they have a chance to win this game outright. So we'll take the points with Maryland going against Wisconsin in this one. Plus 2.5 first half, plus 4.5 for the game. Maryland plus 2.5 first half, and plus 4.5 for the game. Next game up, USC, Arizona. These two guys just played. USC did win at home when Arizona already had the Pac-12 championship wrapped up. I think Arizona's going to take a little revenge here on this one. The line's only 9.5 on a neutral court. Hell, the line was almost 9.5 when it was at USC. So I think a lot of recency bias. People are going to be like, "Oh, USC just beat them. I'll take the 9.5 points." So we'll roll with Arizona here. They are one of the top 7, 8 teams in the country for sure. So Arizona minus 5.5 first half, minus 9 for the game. Arizona minus 5.5 first half and minus 9 for the game. Next game up, same time slot, noon out here in Phoenix, so 3 o'clock Eastern. Utah State, Fresno State. Now, if you're out east, you probably haven't seen any Utah State games as they're on at 11 o'clock at night. But Utah State has been the best team in the Mountain West. Fresno State, one of the worst. I'm surprised the line's only 12.5. Thought it would be 15. 15, 5, 10, 15 are key numbers. I thought it would be closer to there, but we'll gladly just lay the 12.5 here with Utah State. And they will they are solid defensively, more than solid offensively, can play in and out, but we like Utah State -7 in the first half, -12.5 for the game. One more time, Utah State -7 first half and -12 for the game. TCU Houston at that same time slot. Houston, let's start with TCU. TCU I really like. They're a lot of fun to watch. They shoot a lot of threes. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams. But Houston is an animal. And when it comes to playing defense and then offensive rebounding, I don't know if there's a better team in the country, especially offensive rebounding-wise. They are incredible. They get multiple shots, it seems like, every possession, which makes it really hard to beat them. I mean, they do have a slow pace. They do play tremendous defense on the other side. But when they're not hitting shots, they're still okay. Because guess why? They have more putbacks than anybody I've seen in college basketball. And that's been their whole program, I think, for the past few years when they've been so good here with Calvin Sampson. I really like Houston in this matchup here. I think TCU does get a win yesterday. I don't think it continues over, though. So Houston -6.5 first half, -10.5 for the game. One more time, Houston -6.5 first half and -10.5 for the game. Another game we've looked at a lot is Arkansas, South Carolina. I'm going to be really honest here. I got a lot of lean towards Arkansas on this one. We haven't made a bet yet, but could come back to that matchup as well. Loyola Chicago and St. Bonaventure is another interesting game. We lean probably Loyola Chicago there with only a 2.5-point line. The line that didn't make any sense when it came out was San Diego State UNLV. UNLV was really good at home in the Mountain West this year. They were horrible on the road or anywhere else. San Diego State was just a solid overall team, towards the top of the conference in the Mountain West. It opened at 2.5 when we grabbed it. It's now at 4.5. We still love San Diego State here. I'll be really honest with you. We even took the -2.5 in the first half. So we've got -2.5 first half and -2.5 for the game in that one. But I'd still jump all over this at 4.5, no question. So San Diego State -2.5 first half and -2.5 for the game. Ohio State, Iowa is pretty interesting. Iowa kind of struggled towards the end of the year. Ohio State was red hot after they make the coaching change, and Ohio State only laying at 2.5. And then we get into Providence Creighton. Is another interesting game there. 8.5-point line, little high for us on that one. If that line was closer to 5, I think we would be all in a bag of chips. Ole Miss playing Texas A&M though. Texas A&M here is fighting for their tournament life. I don't think they're making the tournament. If they are, they're one of the last two teams in. But we like Ole Miss actually to beat Texas A&M today. Chris Vargas, that new contract. I just think Ole Miss is all there in a bag of chips, so to speak. So we will take Ole Miss +2.5 first half, +4.5 for the game. Ole Miss +2.5 first half, and +4.5 for the game. And they're all that in a bag of chips for this matchup. I don't think for every matchup, but for this one, we like them quite a bit. Next game up, North Texas and Tulane. North Texas has been really solid all season long. Games at 4 o'clock out here in Phoenix, so 7 o'clock Eastern time. Like North Texas' matchup, like them in most matchups all season long. So we'll lay the points with North Texas here. -3 first half, -5.5 for the game. One more time, North Texas -3 first half and -5.5 for the game. And Kansas State, Iowa State is another one of those pretty interesting. Kansas State just comes off a win in Ames, actually. At home against Iowa State. And they're still 7.5-point dogs there. But that turnaround kind of play each other twice in a little over a week should be in play. Dayton, Duquesne is another interesting one. And to be really honest, that game could be a total as well. Duquesne had a scoring output like crazy yesterday, but Dayton's not going to allow that kind of happen. Colorado State, Nevada is another interesting one. Colorado State was ranked in the top 20 earlier in the season, but Nevada's just played solid all season long to get there. But solid solid look on that one as well. Like Penn State, Indiana could be interesting on that one as well. So it's a ton of games. Cincinnati, Baylor. Cincinnati comes off a huge win yesterday against Kansas. Kansas playing with three guys. It's basically 5-on-3 basketball. They win a game they should have won, and they won it handily. They won it by 20 on that one. New Mexico, Boise State. Now, New Mexico finally did come out and really show what they can do, beating Air Force in the first round by 20+. I don't know if they've got enough for Boise State here, but Boise State, was really, really one of those teams that was really good at home, but definitely a struggle on the road, which happens a lot in conference play. So when you hit a neutral court, is there going to be much difference there? But another game that we are on is SMU. We did take them -6.5 in the first half, -12 for the game. One more time, SMU -6.5 first half and -12 for the game. So make sure you do check with the Google Sheets as these games are starting at 8 o'clock out here in Arizona. We're not going to have a show out at like 5 in the morning. So checking with those Google Sheets that we have are a great way to do that, to see all of our bets. It's a ledger of all of our bets, what juice we got them at, how many units, and what book we placed that at. So even if the show hasn't started or something to that effect, and maybe there was a one-off or two-off really early game, you can still see all the bets that we've placed for those games. So make sure you do check those out. And as we always update those as well. If we find there's a lot of games we have lean-ons, but maybe we haven't made bets on yet. So make sure you do check back to those before game time, and maybe we've played those as well. So make sure you take a look at that. We'll get into the NBA slate on there. So Suns at the Celtics. Celtics just beat the Suns by 10 a little over a week ago in Phoenix. They opened at a 4.5-point favorite when we grabbed it yesterday. We didn't think it was going to get any better than 4.5. So we took the Celtics at the 4.5. Now it's at 6, 225.5 total. No Porzingis tonight the way it looks. Not sure about Drew Holiday for the Celtics. The Suns seem to have everybody basically back. I mean, the big three are back. Bradley Beal's been playing really well. Jason Tatum had a really good game in the last one, but it was against the Blazers. Jaylen Brown's been playing well. So even without Porzingis, I still think they got a great shot to, win by double digits here. Another 10-point win wouldn't be out of the realm. So we do like the Celtics tonight. We did take the Celtics -1.5 first quarter, -3.5 first half, and -4.5 for the game. Bradley Beal for the Suns over 18.5 points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, and over 27.5 par. And then Jaylen Brown, I just don't like Tatum at 30+. There's so many options on that team to score. And they can have those nights where maybe they're not scoring really well, but they play defense. So we went Jaylen Brown 25+ points, and then Jaylen Brown over 34.5 par. There wasn't a lot of no Drew Holiday stuff out yet, so there's probably going to be props we add back to this one. It's just Tatum at 30. I know they want you to bet, Tatum's a star. Jaylen Brown's a star as well, but, Tatum's kind of maybe the guy, they think this leader of this team. I'll be really honest, this team really cooks when Porzingis is in the lineup, and Tatum can score about 25 points and doesn't have all that scoring pressure on him. But we do like the Celtics here. I just think the Suns are they're going to be in the playoffs, obviously, but are they going to be one of those teams that I think can put it all together? They just had so many injuries this year, and that was to be expected with this lineup. The one part that wasn't expected is Kevin Durant's actually been healthy for 85% plus of the season. Booker's been the one probably. Booker and Beal definitely been the two that have been hurt the most, but Booker lately, been hurt. And he did come back in the last game, played all right, but nothing spectacular in that one. But we do like the Celtics tonight, like I said, -1.5 first quarter, -3.5 first half. And we did get that 4.5 number when it opened, and -4.5 there. Bradley Beal over 18.5 points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, over 27.5 par. Jaylen Brown, 25+ points, and over 34.5 par. Next game up on the schedule, Bucks, 76ers. Why is this line only 7.5 with this 76ers team that is... Wow, I'm shocked it's only 7.5, 220 total. I mean, there's nothing to like about this 76ers team. Nothing. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on with this Bucks team either. They're a little hard, they've been hard to read. They were so bad against the number to start off the season, which we expected. Then they were great offensively and poor defensively. Doc Rivers comes in, then all of a sudden they hit another skid. Then once the All-Star break hit, they seem to get this turned around, and they're playing a lot better defense. But I don't know how the 76ers are only 7.5-point dog in this one. We love the Bucks. -2 first quarter, -4.5 first half, -7.5 for the game. Back on the under Tobias Harris train, under 17.5 points, under 27.5 par. Giannis for 12-plus rebounds. And we like Beasley tonight being at home, hitting some threes, over 12.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, and 5+ threes. So one more time in this Bucks 76ers matchup, Bucks -2 first quarter, -4.5 first half, -7.5 for the game. Tobias Harris under 17.5 points, under 27.5 par. Giannis 12+ rebounds. Beasley over 12.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, and 5+ threes in that matchup. We get into the next game, Wizards, Rockets. My apologies on that one. Rockets 7.5-point home favorite, 227.5 total. Wizards come off the back-to-back playing the Grizzlies playing last night. Rockets have been pretty good against the number at home, especially as a favorite. So I know there's no Sengun. We're fine with that. I just think it leaves it more to the guards in this one. Jalen Green, if he really seems to put his mind to it, he can be a devastating scorer in this league. Just got to be a little smarter with the basketball. He does turn the ball over way too much. That is definitely, a hindrance for that one there. He can shoot the three. He is a little streaky though. I've seen a lot of 0 for 6 and then 5 for 8s with Jalen Green, but they have some talent there. I mean, when Sengun's playing, you got Jalen Green, Van Vliet, Jabari Smith. Definitely some decent pieces there. I mean, they could use a superstar. Don't know if you're going to get one to Houston, but unless you extremely overpay him, or a fringe star that you pay superstar max money to. But we do like the Rockets in this one. The Wizards just like I said, I think they quit for the season. They're already looking to see, when the first flight to Cabo is, so to speak. So we like the Rockets here, -2.5 first quarter, -4 first half, and -7.5 for the game. Jalen Green over 23.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, and over 32.5 par. Jordan Poole over 2.5 turnovers. The Rockets do cause a lot of turnovers, especially at home. And the Wizards under 109.5 team total. So one more time here. We've got the Rockets -2.5 first quarter, -4 first half, -7.5 for the game. Jalen Green over 23.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, and over 32.5 par. Jordan Poole over 2.5 turnovers, and the Wizards under the 109.5 team total. Next game up, we've got the Bulls and the Clippers. Clippers 6.5-point favorite, going on the road to Chicago. Chicago's in a big game last night, ended up pulling that one out, ended up winning straight up in that particular matchup, and they were a 4-point dog after the game prior where they got absolutely destroyed. These two teams just played a little over a week ago. The Bulls dominated them in the first half. Clippers pull it out late third, fourth quarter. Kobe White looks like he's probably out on that one there. Not a lot of player props yet available in this game, so we do like the Bulls actually getting the points at home in this matchup, but we'll have more player props. So like we mentioned before, those Google Sheets at the end of the show where there's a link to it, make sure you do check back with those later. We'll give you what we've got currently. Bulls +2 first quarter, +3.5 first half, +6 for the game. And then we've got a bunch of Dosimo props, over 15.5 points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, and over 24.5 par. And if James Harden's playing, you can guarantee we probably got a turnover bet in there as well. But we haven't seen much on the Clipper side except for Kawhi props. So Bulls +2 first quarter, +3 first half, +3.5 first half, +6 for the game. Dosimo over 15.5 points, 2 plus threes, 3 plus threes, and over 24.5 par. Next game up, Mavs Thunder. So Mavs come our back-to-back game here. They played at home against the Warriors last night. They lose the first quarter, but win the half in the game, and they covered a lot easier than I thought they would. That's for damn sure. So the Warriors couldn't seem to hit many shots. Luka didn't even score a bunch of points. It wasn't like Luka was on fire or anything of that nature. They're going to OKC tonight, so short trip. Dallas to OKC, by planes, probably an hour, if that. Mavs, though, getting 11 seems like an awful big number there at that 11. I'm just pretty surprised by that number there. Now, the Thunder have struggled against the number here as of late. We love the Thunder. We've been betting on them all season long, but this 11 number doesn't make a ton of sense on this one. So we're going to roll with the Mavs in this one. There wasn't a ton of player props out once again. So this is one of those ones where you need to check back to the Google Sheets to see all the bets we're going to have here. But Mavs plus 3.5 first quarter, plus 6.5 first half, and plus 11 for the game. Luka 35 plus points, Holmgren 15 plus points, SGA 30 plus points, Holmgren 2 plus threes, and Holmgren over 27.5 par. So one more time in this Mavs Thunder matchup, Mavs plus 3.5 first quarter, plus 6.5 first half, plus 11 for the game. Luka 35 plus points, Holmgren 15 plus points, SGA 30 plus points, Holmgren 2 plus threes, and over 27.5 par. Last game on the schedule for the night, Knicks Blazers. Good to see OG Anunoby back in the last game for the Knicks. They finally get a win after the horrible game they had against the 76ers. The previous game to that, where I don't know if they hit 150 total. In fact, the 76ers have scored I think they've scored less than 150 points for the last two games combined. That's why that Bucks 76ers line didn't make a lot of sense there. Knicks laying 10.5 at the Blazers. Let's just say this about the Knicks. They have been absolutely crippled by injuries here for the last month plus. But one thing that the Knicks have done is beat the crap out of these bad teams and cover. And the Trailblazers are one of those bad teams. Let's not make any exceptions about it. They've been absolutely horrible. They've had a lot of injuries as well. Scoot's been out a lot of the year. Malcolm Brogdon's been out a lot of the year. DeAndre Ayton's had his issues on the being hurt. Jeremiah Grant's been hurt. Not that they were going to come out and win 50 games anyway, but it's just been even worse than they anticipated. I thought they probably thought they had a shot at maybe a 30-win season. That's, not going to happen by any stretch of the imagination here. So we do like the Knicks here. Like I said, they tend to take care of the bad teams. There wasn't another ton of player props on this one. So make sure you do. I'm going to harp this until it comes home. Make sure you do come back and check the Google Sheets to get all of our updated bets. But we did take the Knicks minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 6.5 first half, and minus 10.5 for the game. Brunson 3 plus threes. DiVincenzo 4 plus threes. Josh Hart 10 plus rebounds. We love Josh Hart on the rebounding side. I hate to watch him shoot, but love to watch him rebound on that one there. So one more time in that Knicks-Blazers matchup. Knicks minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 6.5 first half, minus 10.5 for the game. Brunson 3 plus threes. DiVincenzo 4 plus threes. And Josh Hart 10 plus rebounds. So I've mentioned this about 5 times throughout the show today. At the end of every show that we do, in the comments section, there will be a link to our Google Sheets, which is a ledger of all of our bets. So say docs.google.spreadsheet, bunch of other stuff behind it. Click into that link. You'll have multiple sports that we have laid bets on. So we have 2 seasons of football we've left in there to show you the results of those. 2 seasons of baseball. Also basketball this year. And then also we have like a not mainstream sport tab like golf, Formula 1, UFC, a little bit, sometimes NASCAR on there as well, but kind of the non-mainstream sports we've got on a separate tab and keep those running. So we've had a fantastic run in basketball, baseball, football. Golf's been a little bit of a killer to us lately, but UFC and Formula 1 have been really good to us on that one. So, I mean, this is our blueprint on how to make money. We love sports. We love money. Combine the two. This is how we do. We're a volume better. We do not expect you to take every bet that we have. But maybe it's, most of the time it's, you want to, you like your own bets. You just need maybe a little reassurance. So maybe you have a bet that you really like. You see that we like it too. And that gives you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window in order to place that bet and make some money. So that's what we're here for, to lay it all out. And as always, if you can subscribe and get notifications to our YouTube channel, so we drop an episode of bets, you get those first. Makes life really simple. Once you hit that subscribe button, we'll be locating your subscriptions tab every time something new drops. Or if you turn those notifications on for YouTube, you'll get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a new episode of bets. Match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window so we can all make some money. That's what we're here for, folks, is we make that change and enjoy watching sports like we do. So I do appreciate everybody's support as always, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.